Another socialism is another economic system primarily to speak that there is no nation globally which now can be claimed to be or termed to be socialist or having socialist economic system after the great fail of the Soviet Union that actually claimed to be a socialist country. So currently we hardly see in global scenario, we hardly find any country which economy is purely socialist in nature, socialist in structure or the practice. However, there is a clear-cut philosophy socialism that believes in particularly this economy. Socialism economy believes in just opposite of capitalism. In capitalism, it is believed that the economy is market center. The economy is at the hands of certain individuals or people who are basically business groups that is governed by the market. So we discussed how in capitalist mode of economy different subjects are being propagated and advertised, and that influences the choice of the people. The total money or the capital lies rest at the hands of the capitalist. While in socialist philosophy, the belief system is just opposite. It does not believe in capitals to be kept at the hands of certain group of people or the capitalists. Rather, it believes that the capital needs to be at the hands of the government or the people. This is the basic difference between these two philosophy or the economic system, that is capitalism as well as socialism. So anything ism when we call, that is a philosophy. Capitalism is a philosophy, economic philosophy. Similarly, socialism is a economic philosophy. Here, all means of productions are socially owned and utilized by the government. As I mentioned, that all the productions are socially owned or owned by the government. No individual ownership in any form is encouraged. In an individual can hold private property as is necessary for his subsistence. That is what, for someone's subsistence only, survival only, and individuals are allowed to own property. But major property, main market is not with hands of in the hands of the capitalists at all. Here, the wealth is resting in the hands of the government and owned by the people. That is the primary difference. So government has the primary control, and government has to develop welfare schemes and programs and promote welfares out of this property for the well-being of the people and all. Similarly, as we discussed in the last class about the merits and demerits of capitalism, so also there are also merits and demerits of this philosophy, socialist philosophy. When we talk about merits of socialist philosophy or socialism, we definitely discuss optimum use of economic resources, better way out to basic problems, lesser cyclical fluctuations, rapid balanced economic development, equitable distribution of income. and better equipped to face economic crisis. So once there will be economic crisis, this philosophy has a strength to face it, to overcome this economic crisis. And the core philosophy believes in equitable distribution of income, not even equal. It is equitable distribution of income. That means need based. Whoever as having the needs as per the needs. So equitable distribution is also above equal distributions. In equal distribution, everybody is equally distributed. Even if, for example, if one bread is, for example, if 10 breads are there with you, and there are different people. One is at the age of 2 years baby, another person is a young man of 30 years, and there will be senior citizens. So this, for example, you have 10 breads, 20 breads with you, and when you are told to distribute it equally among all, a child having the age of 2 will get the same, the 5 breads, while as he or she needs only 1 and 2. At the same time, the young person will also get that 5, even if that person may require more. So when we speak about equitable distribution of wealth, we focus on the according to the need of that individuals. So in this socialist philosophy or socialism, it believes in equitable distribution of income as per the needs. Distribution wealth is being distributed among people, and the entire wealth is at the hands of the government. The property is owned by the people. In capitalism, the properties are owned by the individuals, business people. The market is being controlled. Here the market, business, production, marketing, everything is decided by the government or the people. That is what the basic difference. So also we can discuss about different demerits also of socialism. No proper basis of cost of calculation. Similarly, we discussed that there are also severe criticism to this socialism philosophy that speaks about that end of consumer sovereignty of the consumers of the people is not given priority, as we discussed in the last class, that while capitalist philosophy in capitalist philosophy, the needs of or the choice of the consumers are given priority. Importance is given to the choice. Here the choice is being decided by the government. So the sovereignty of consumers comes to an end to some extent. No importance to personal efficiency and productivity. Someone is very productive and some may not be so much productive. But individual productivity is not given importance. Individual productivity is not given emphasis here in socialist philosophy or socialism. Rather, this is mass production. I was discussing about production by masses and mass production. I was discussing. So here, these type of certain demerits we can discuss. Difficulties in the right implementation of the plan. Plans may not be rightly and properly implemented. There can be different plans. There can be different plans by the government, but effective implementation of those plans may also face difficulties. So that so there is less freedom because everything is decided by the government. Properties are owned by the government. So whatever decisions are taken above is being implemented. So there is lack of motivation for work. Certainly, if individuals are not given priority, if individuals' efficiency will not be given priority, If freedom will be less to choose the things, so certainly there is risk of less motivation for work for work also there will be, or there is possibility of less uh, mm, motivation for work, lack of motivation of work. Now there is another category of economic system, that is mixed economy. Mixed economy. I will discuss. Uh, I discussed you in the previous class, that is 1947. On 15th August, India became independent country or got freedom from British Empire colonialism. After that, Government of India was established. The first Government of India was led by the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Nehru became the first Prime Minister of independent India. So Pandit Nehru led government decided to adopt mixed economy. Mixed economy. Can anybody define mixed economy? Anyone? I discussed two things: capitalist mode of economy and socialist mode of economy. Now I am talking about mixed economy. Particularly India adopted after independence mixed economy. How are you defining mixed economy, or what do you understand by mixed economy? Anyone?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yes, mixed economy. It's a system that combines elements of both capitalism and the socialism. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? So even in the Constitution of India, in the preamble of the Constitution itself, it is written that written about socialist India as a socialist state, democratic republican socialist secular country. Economic model so far being practiced in India by Government of India, right from the first government led by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru till now. Different governments uh, came in came in between different government after every election. So India adopted mixed economic system. So when we say mixed economy, India after independence, while making
Am
the
I
choice of an economic system, Jawaharlal Nehru led nation decided on blending capitalism and socialism, known as mixed economy that I mentioned. In the words of Analto Murad, mixed economy is the economy in which both government and private individuals exercise economic control. So in last class, we discussed that in capitalist economy, the capital remains at the hands of the capitalists, while as in socialist economic system, the capital remains at the hands of the public or the people or the government, you can understand. When we say mixed economy, in mixed economy, both government or the people as well as private players or individuals, they have powers or the control over the properties or over the economy. So there is possible chance for the government to have control over resources, as well as private players, the business communities, they also exercise powers, or they have also control and access to properties. Property means the capital. Here, partnership of the private and public sectors are being seen. Here, planned economy and government control mechanism is given priority. Focusing on economic development, periodical plans for the nation are made by the government to be adhered to by both these sectors to reach the set destination and uphold social welfare. The private sector is regulated and controlled by the government. In mixed economy, private parties or the private companies or the industrialists or the private sectors are also given opportunity to hold capital, but the private sector is regulated and controlled by the government. In mixed economy, government does not allow the full freedom for the industrialists to have. Rather, there is a control mechanism, regulation to control, to have control over the private properties by the government. Similarly, when we see private property and economic equality, here having permanent right to private property, the government through a well-planned mix of laws and taxes and welfare programs ensure fair distribution of income and wealth. So government also keeps watch or watches or keeps an vigilant eyes upon the welfare of the people. So welfare is not compromised. In India, even if the private bodies are given economic opportunities, to my experiences and different other examples I am narrating, private players are given uh, powers or the controls over properties or business. At the same time, they are also regulated by the government. They are bound to spend 2.5% out of their wealth for the well-being and welfare of the people, particularly in those areas where the industry is running. That is called particularly corporate social responsibility. So nobody is beyond welfare work. Even the private bodies, they are also bound to perform work for the welfare of the people. So I mentioned that the government has also control over the capitalist in mixed economic system. Price mechanism and regulated economy. While the prices of some essential commodities such as domestic fuel, railway fares, postal charges, etc., are in the hands of the public sector, the price mechanism also exists. So in India, our railways, our postal services, these are purely with the hands of the government. This is not privatized. Even domestic fuels, the cost is being decided by the government. If it is given completely given to the ownership of the private entities, so government cannot decide their price. Now the price rate of fuel, domestic fuel, even railway forces, postal charges, all these are at the hand of the government. So that we are telling that India is not completely a capitalist country like America and many other European countries where everything is guided, controlled by the private bodies. The total capital, the total governance, the total market system lives at the hand of the private entities. Here in mixed economy, yes, the private players, private parties, they have also ownership on resources, but government has the control. Government has the control. Number one. Number two, different important things are being controlled, totally controlled by the government. About when we talk about essential commodities, commodities, the government has the complete say, no private ownership. Similarly, government has also government also keeps control over the private entities and private body in mixed economic system. And what is important is that profit motive and social welfare, it is again a combination of objectives of capitalist and socialist economy. So in capitalist economy, the total capital system or capitalism believes in profit making, or the motive is to have more and more profit, less or no welfare, while a socialist philosophy believes in welfare measures. As we discussed in previous counseling sessions also, the government has to take care of the or ensure the welfare for the people. As we discussed in the last class, India as a welfare state. So here again, it is again a combination of objective of the capitalist and socialist economics. Or however, if the government is of the opinion that any private sector industry is hampering the progress of the society, nationalization is restored too. So here government also sees or observes about the functioning of the private entity. So complete profit making is cannot be the agenda. Rather, welfare should go together with the profit. So I mentioned about corporate social responsibility in India that ensures that out of profit, special or particular amount must be deducted and utilized for the well-being and welfare of the people. So economic freedom and capital formulation can be possible with mixed economy. Competition and efficient production can be ensured. Efficient allocation of resources can be done. Advantages of planning is there. Similarly, economic equality can be ensured, and freedom from exploitation can also be ensured out of this mixed economy. However, we also encounter unstable economy and constrained growth. These are important demerits when we talk about mixed economy. So in mixed economy, there is possibility of unstable economy, as well as there is constraint in growth. Particularly, these are the important demerits associated with mixed economy. Now I discuss about India as a welfare state. India as a welfare state. So I discussed that India, after being independent, India developed its own constitution, and India became a welfare state. Similarly, developed its constitution, and different things came up. Fundamental rights were ensured to the citizens. Similarly, directive principles of the state policies are also enlisted. But what kind of country will be India, or India will be? India decided to be a welfare state. Welfare state. Any idea which country can be called as a welfare state? Welfare state. Any idea? Any idea, please, about welfare state? Anyone? Hello, am I audible? Anybody wants to speak or please participate in the discussion?
Hello?
Ah, yes, yes, please.
You want the definition of welfare state or what?
Have you heard anybody welfare state? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
yes. So,
Yes, somebody has raised hand. Please
the
complete. Please complete.
yeah, so welfare state it's a system where the government play a key role in protecting and promoting the well-being of its citizen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Somebody has raised hand. Please tell. Somebody has raised hand. So welfare state acts as a shield to its people throughout their throughout their lifetime, offering help to optimum feasible extent. The welfare state also aims at providing minimum standard of health, economic security, and civilized living, thereby enabling its citizens to share in a state's social and cultural heritage according to their ability. So, welfare state ensures minimum earning, the market value of work notwithstanding, allocates for social eventualities that might lead consequently to individual or family disaster. The welfare of the people in primary concern of a welfare state. So a welfare state is a state that believes in creating or believes in providing welfare programs and promotes welfare among the people. The primary concern of a welfare state is to come up with welfare schemes or to do welfare of the people throughout their life. In the countries like India, it includes both social insurance and social assistance schemes. Social assistance takes the form of free education, medical care, schemes for welfare and development of the weaker sections, while as the insurance system is against illness, unemployment, accident, etc. So, in a welfare state, all the people are given free education and health services. So, in India, the government hospitals are open. Government has open hospitals. The treatment is completely free of cost. Similarly, when there is health crisis, the government comes forward to protect the lives of the people. For example, recently we have witnessed about COVID. So all the possible measures were when taken by the governments, right from vaccination campaigns to different healthcare facilities were ensured by the government, because government of India believes in welfare, promoting welfare among the people. So also government ensures free healthcare facilities right from mother's womb. So there is a scheme called ICDS in India, in which the pregnant ladies, lactating mothers, their adolescent girls are given not only medical support, but also their nutritional security is also ensured. So Anganwadi Kendras or the crèche homes are being opened throughout the country. Free food, nutritional supplement is being provided to pregnant ladies. Their treatment is taken care by Anganwadi Kendras in India. All the vaccination, treatment, everything is given at the doorstep. So also different hospitals, government healthcare programs like tobacco control programs, TB elimination programs, different disease based widespread national level schemes are being promoted nationally in order to deal with those diseases like malaria, for malaria prevention, for HIV AIDS, for non-communicable diseases. Cells are created, hospitals are created, counseling centers are created, treatment is being provided free of cost to the communicable and non-communicable diseases both. For non-communicable disease like for non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and many other cardiovascular disease, treatment is provided free of cost. So also schooling in India, right to education has become a fundamental right enshrined in the Constitution of India as per Article 21A. All the children till 14, they are given free and compulsory education. No one can stop education on any ground, on gender ground, religion ground, caste ground, color ground, any ground. There cannot be discrimination. Free and compulsory education for every child in the country, because India believes in welfare of the people. So basic things, I'm given examples of healthcare and education. So also the neglected communities like PWD, persons with disabilities, they are also given equal opportunity, equal rights. So a welfare country not only promotes the welfare schemes and programs, rather different social legislations are also being introduced. Different social legislations. For example, I gave you the example of Right to Education Act. So under Article 21A of the Indian Constitution, it is the fundamental right of every child till 14 to have free and compulsory education. And Government of India has enacted the Right to Education Act that ensures the completion of education till 14 years without any cost, free of cost. So the teachers are provided, books are provided, midday meals are provided. Might be children will not be able to come to sit in the schools without meals because of poverty. So free meals, that is midday meal, MDM, is provided to the children. Books are provided free of cost. Teachers are available. And here also there is another inclusion is given priority. Inclusion means the inclusion of special children, the children with disabilities. They can also access to the schools. That is again as per RPWD Act, Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016. I mean to say, I am narrating two stories here. One, welfare country promotes welfare programs. Number one. Number two, the welfare country also ensures the schemes to be implemented and ensuring that this is not a charity of the government, but it is the right of the people to access those opportunities. So government introduces, brings out social legislations. I mentioned about two legislations. One, Right to Education Act, and another act I mentioned about RPWD Act, Right of Person with Disability Act 2016. So that ensures participation or completion of education, free and compulsory education. And government has to provide teachers, special teachers. So also the curriculum will be friendly to the children with disabilities. Braille books, sign language teachers, braille teachers, they are called the special teachers. They have to be there in the schools. Since the welfare country, India is a welfare country, the country has to ensure all these welfare programs and schemes and will develop the social legislations in order to provide or in order to connect the people with opportunities. So any welfare state works with the visions like ensuring minimum standard of living of the people through social security. So I mentioned about the welfare country believes in providing the basic social securities to the people. For example, I am given example from India. You must have also experienced in your native countries, respective countries, about all these welfare programs and schemes, because all these are actually also guided by global bodies, that United Nations also regulates time to time, comes with the declarations, global declarations, and ensures that all the citizens in any country of the world will have minimum standard of living, and the social security programs will be ensured. For example, in India, you can give example from your native country. In India, we do pensions are there. There is pension scheme for elderly people, senior citizens, 60 plus. Pensions are being provided to senior citizens, to widows, those who are not having husbands. They are provided widow pensions. So also disability pensions are being provided to the people. Senior citizens are provided pensions. These are the social security scheme. Sorry, so under social security, they are provided all these pensions. Similarly, people living with HIV and AIDS also given pensions. So government comes up with social welfare programs like providing pakka houses to the people under the scheme of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. That means pakka house, concrete houses to be provided to the people living or having no pakka houses. They will be provided pakka houses free of cost. Similarly, free electricity is also being provided. LPG gas is also being provided free of cost. And here also emphasis is given to the women participant of the program. Women are encouraged to come up. Here in housing scheme also, single lady, divorcee, these ladies are also, separated ladies are also given priorities. So also, priority is also given to the people with disabilities. So I'm mentioning about free houses available, the government has to provide houses to the people free of cost. Those who cannot afford a pakka house, concrete house. So also they will be provided with, the people will be provided with safe drinking water. So government comes up with the schemes of drinking water programs. The houses are connected with water supply, taps are provided. Similarly, toilet facilities. Government of India has a special program, Swachh Bharat Mission. Under this scheme, the houses are to be provided with free toilet facilities in order to check open defecation, because open defecation leads to different diseases, infections. It also hinders the privacies. It also results with multiple crimes and problems, particularly to the women. So toilets are also being provided free of cost, because India believes in welfare, promotion of welfare. India as a welfare state. So all these social security programs, insurances are being provided. And government, I mentioned, ensures minimum standards of living through different social security programs, equal distribution of income through transfer of wealth from privileged to deprived. That is also being taken care, even if it can be critically reviewed. Enhancement of national income through increased production. So India as a welfare state, the Constitution of India specifies its government to build a welfare state. It stipulates the government to provide for the right of all citizens to adequate means of livelihood, right to work. And you see, there was a time when there was wage differentiation between the sexes or the genders. Women even work the same time but were paid less compared to men. But as a welfare state, the state has to see, minimize, control, reduce the inequalities. So India has ensured that there cannot be wage discrimination. between men and women. Equal work, equal payment, and all will be provided work. So there is another act, social legislation in India, that is MGNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. This again, this again provides 100 days, minimum 100 days working, or the mandates, or provides opportunity to work for 100 days, and the local government panchayati raj system has to ensure this right to work for the people, so that the migration of rural people from rural to urban can be checked. So here I am talking about right to work, right to education. Similarly, I have already explained you very thoroughly about right to education, because after India became independent in 1947, so before India, money, in front of India or the country, there were different challenges. I already discussed in previous counseling session that the country was suffering from extreme poverty and hunger because of the loot and exploitation of 200 years. The people were suffering like anything else. There is the problem of illiteracy, and again illiteracy among women was much more compared to men, and opportunities of schooling and education for PWD special children whereas another concern. So government want, wanted to have different programs. I discussed in the last class about 5-year plan. So to develop or to upgear the development, 5-year plan was adopted in the country, and in each 5-year plan, special agenda or special focus was given. Sometimes emphasis on farmers, welfare of the farmers. Sometimes creating infrastructure was given priorities, right from rural infrastructure to urban infrastructure. So different schemes, programs, welfare programs, social security programs were introduced time and again. It is not happening once and all, rather every time according to the need, government plans for the development or to promote welfare programs in the country. So I mentioned about farmers. So for farmers also, government provides different financial assistance to the farmers. Two important programs are being implemented. One is nationwide program PM Kisan. Under this scheme, the farmers are provided financial assistance, or the farmers are provided with certain amount of financial assistance by the government of India. And in the state I belong to, Odisha, there is another scheme, CM Kisan, or earlier it was known as Kadiya Yojana. So under different state governments, they come up with different welfare schemes. I mentioned about weaker communities, poor communities, vulnerable and downtrodden people. So different assistance are also being provided. Old age pension, accident victims are provided assistance. The people, those who cannot afford legal, or they cannot go for, or they cannot have the financial capacity to stand for themselves in the court to defend themselves, under legal aid programs, people are also provided legal assistance. So every kind of support mechanism is ensured in a welfare state. When I have already mentioned India as a welfare state, so I am narrating the stories from all around, right from pakka houses to financial assistance to the downtrodden, and special protection or the special programs for weaker communities like SCs and STs. So in India, you may be knowing, you may be knowing, Indian society largely believe in caste system. Caste system means in Africa you might have experienced about racism, black, white, racism. Though exploitation was done in the name of color, white, black, color. But in India, since centuries, the problem of racism is not here prevalent. Here, caste system. So, certain group by birth are identified as uh, Sudras, or they are in social system. They are placed at the bottom. Some people are high by birth, some people are low by birth, some remain in the middle by birth, and this cannot be changed. So because certain people are less or inferior, untouchables by birth, so historically they were neglected, they were tortured, they were exploited. Even I mentioned that even today when we see analyze for example dropout among people, among children, if we go by caste, we'll certainly find that particular caste people, their children, are facing dropout much more compared to certain particular people who are ranked at the top of the social strata. So these are in the Indian constitution. They were listed as scheduled caste. So also the tribes, they also became very vulnerable. Their education is not so good. Their livelihood, their quality of life, when we compare with non-tribes, we find there is extreme poverty among tribes, extreme money illiteracy among tribes. So, in Indian Constitution, Article 14 under fundamental right, it is said that all citizens of India are same beyond caste, religion, color, gender, etc. So, under Article 17 of Indian Constitution, the evil practices of untouchability was abolished. Nobody can treat anybody as untouchable. No practice of untouchability is possible. So government introduced fundamental rights for all the citizens of the country, and in the constitution, or the constitution provides equal opportunity, equal rights, no discrimination in the name of religion, caste and class and color, and provided equal opportunity to all the citizens, but only constitutional provisions will not be capable or able to provide or to minimize the gaps. So government started protecting the rights of these people with special provisions. With special provisions. This is called protective discrimination in order to safeguard the rights of certain groups like SCs and STs in India. Special attention is given. So in academics, in jobs, in different others social economic activities, those who are left behind, left out population, for any reason, socio-political, economic reasons. So the Constitution provides special provisions for all those people in order to ensure equal opportunity to all and to bridge the gaps of inequalities. So all the people can come together with special reservations are given Scholarships are being given, scholarship, education scholarship to this category children, children belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, given special that is called um, scholarship, stipends are being given, coaching facilities are being provided, because since centuries these particular communities could not access to education. So special measures are being taken. Why? India is a welfare state. So any welfare state in the world believes in protecting the rights of all the citizens, and special attention has to be given to all those populations who are left behind for any reason. Might be for the reason of socio-economic and political reason, whatever reason might be there. But the government has to spend special attention to all those populations, all those people who are left behind. Now I am asking to all of you, please explain few welfare programs from your country as I am describing. Please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for example, in Malawi, part of the welfare state includes what we call social cash transfer, whereby the government provides cash and incentives to people, especially the elderly and those with disabilities and those with low income. The second one could be that the healthcare service is free for all citizens, including foreigners in our country. So just to start with.
Okay. Anybody else from any other place?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Hello.
According to me here in my country, Nigeria, I cannot bring one thing and say that it's a welfare, uh, it's welfare to the people of the country. Because, as everyone knows in the country, the government gives welfare to the people of the country. But at long last,
There is some problem in your voice. It's not audible and clear.
am I clear now?
And now you are clear.
Okay. We here in Nigeria, I'm a
Yeah,
Nigerian.
yeah.
Many things by the government was said that is free of charge, but
Okay,
at the end, if you went to access the thing, you cannot get it because you are not part of the politicians or something like that. For example, they said that health is free for the
okay,
children above 18 years,
okay,
below 18 years. But if you go to the hospital, you could not find medicine, no good care from the doctors and nurses, no good hospitals, and so on. And at the end, in terms of giving you free medicine, they will say that there is no medicine or something like that. They did not assess the things that you will use in the hospital. At the end, you would like to choose to visit the private sector. So I doesn't see anything in Nigeria, in my country, that they do it free for the people of the country. If you come and talk, they challenge you. At the end of the day, they even arrest you for talking to the government on what they are doing that is not good. Thank you, sir.
thank you for your sharing. For your sharing. Anybody else from any other part of the world? Okay. We are just discussing. There are critical opinions and critical reflections critical realities are there, but above all, a welfare state believes in protecting the rights of the people of all, but particularly all those people who are left behind for any reason, for any political reason, social reason, economic education reason, whatever reason might be. So special attention has to be given in a welfare state to the rights of all those people. So children are given emphasis, pregnant ladies are given care and protection, special children, children with disabilities are given special attention. So also for caste and discrimination reason, people those who are left behind, they have to be given special attention. So also weak, sick, senior citizens, widows, accident victims, even leprosy patients, acid attack victims. In India, acid attack victims are categorized under PWD, person with disability, as per RPWD Act. So in RPWD Act, Rights of Person with Disabilities, 21 categories of people are identified to be PWD, persons with disabilities, in which victims of acid attacks are also considered to be the PWD, persons with disabilities. So all the programs, whatever will be dedicated to the or dedicated for PWD, these people will also enjoy. So healthcare facilities I discussed, education I discussed, welfare schemes I discussed. Similarly, different acts are being passed. Like I mentioned few, two, three important legislations like RTE, Right to Education Act, right to MGNRG. I mentioned about 100 days of minimum guarantee of work. I mentioned right to work. I mentioned about RPWD Act. So also there are acts like the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. The The Workmen's Compensation Act 1923 means any person who is working unemployed in any industry or any workplace, if he or she faces any disabilities, someone's hand is damaged, eyes are damaged, legs are damaged, or any other thing, compensation has to be provided by the employer to the employee without any discrimination, both men and women. So Factories Act 1948, the Industrial Disputes Act 1947, the Plantation Labor Act 1951, the Mines Act 1952, the Payment of Bonus Act 1965, the Gratuity Act 1972. These are the important social legislations or the laws which government has enacted in order to safeguard the rights of the workers being employed in industries, in mines. We all of us know that people employed in mines, people employed in industries are vulnerable to accidents, are vulnerable to different disabilities. If these laws are not there, once for example somebody is found dead working in mines, in an industry, somebody lost his eyesights, or somebody lost his or her hands, legs, even in any other organ or the part of the body, immediately the industry or the business community will throw him or her away. But these acts are there: Employees Insurance Act, Workmen Compensation Act, Factories Act, Labor Act, Mines Act, Payment of Bonus Act, Gratuity Acts. Different acts are there, and these are the acts which will protect, safeguard the interest of the laborers, the workers, so that the workers will not feel alone, lonely. They will not feel lonely. They will feel that we have social legislations for us. Similarly, once some development programs comes, for example, some mines are found in some village, some development programs like dams will be constructed, some roads will be constructed, railway lines will be constructed. Naturally, the people have to leave the place for greater interest of development, for construction of dams, for construction of roads, for the constructions of railways and any other government offices, or even if there will be mining, particularly in for mining, minings are being found in tribal populous areas, in forest hills. Particularly in these areas tribal population is found, and once there is demarcation of mining, certainly the people have to leave the place, but the people will be given compensation against it. The companies cannot throw them away from that area and start business or mining. Or suppose you have some house, you have farm, cultivation, for cultivation purpose there will be construction of roads, there will be construction of railway lines. Government can take your property, but compensation will be given to you certainly. And for this compensation, there is a special act also. How much you will be given compensation? 4 times and more compensation are given. Even for industries and factories, the factories has to give employment at least one person from the family along with the financial compensation. Jobs will be ensured to all those people. So these are possible just because of welfare state, because the country believes in welfare. If the country does not believe in welfare, certainly all this care will not be taken. So we stop here for 10 minutes break. Okay,
Okay, sir.
but after 10 minutes we'll be joining back. You stay over here, I'll start after 10 minutes. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Sorry.
I was saying welcome back too, sir.
Okay. 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 Fine. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we discussed various things, welfare schemes, programs, but as well, somebody was talking from Nigeria. There are also examples from different countries of the world. Despite legislations, despite of social development programs, schemes, programs, still there are many things to be done. Number one. Number two, in many cases, programs will be there, but the programs may not be reaching to the right people. As you are given example, medicines are there, but medicines will not be provided to the people. Schemes will be there, programs will be there, might be, but right kind of beneficiaries may not be identified by the government. Here we can discuss the role of the social work profession in the changing scenario. The world is changing. After Second World War II, different countries started to become independent, and in the independent country, the core challenge was the core challenge was to meet the expectations of the people and to gear up the development agendas. And now globally, it is right based, is the time that believes in right based approach. It is not charity based approach. Any program, any scheme is being implemented by the government, it is not just, or it is not, or the people will not be given out of charity. Rather, people have the rights so that they will access to the opportunities, facilities, social development programs, etc. Let us discuss the role of social worker or the social work professionals. Can you please define some roles after listening so much on social welfare or role as a development professional or the social worker in a welfare state? Can somebody define your role? Any idea? Any discussion by anybody? Your role, the role of social workers, the indigenous strategies of social work have to be developed to deal with the impact of LPG on Indian economy or any other economy. Before this, I would like to discuss about LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Now, the entire world has become a global village. Every aspect of life is becoming private in changing scenario. I mentioned that there is a capital mode of economy, then there is a socialist mode of economy, and there is a mixed economy. But certainly, private players are coming so powerfully, so powerfully in all sectors, in healthcare sector, in education sector, in employment sector, in any sector. Private bodies are coming forward. So what will be our role? The profession is faced with the valid criticism of borrowing Western methods and strategies and has to be put an end to it. In Indian context, we discuss that the profession of social work is based on the literature borrowed from Western countries. That is a huge criticism. One way, social work education, we don't have our own theories. We are borrowing theories from different sciences, disciplines. For example, from economics, from sociology, from anthropology, from political science, from public administration, from psychology, and many other sciences. We are borrowing the concepts, theories, and making our own theories. That is one criticism to social work because it believes in interdisciplinary practices. Number one. Number two, all these theories, sociological theories, economic theories, anthropological theories, are again borrowed from Western countries, European countries. This is a criticism to social work education, social work education, because with these borrowed theories from outside, the theories may not be fitting to Indian scenario or the Indian context. So also for your own native place, the theories you study, the theories are being borrowed from some other country, Western country, but the socio-economic conditions are totally different. The socio-economic political conditions of Western countries are different than that of Asian and African countries. And I am talking about India. So this is a criticism that the borrowed concept and borrowed theories may not serve the purpose. Therefore, indigenous knowledge, indigenous strategies, indigenous theories have to be developed by the social workers. With the indigenous knowledge, with the indigenous knowledge, we will work with our own population so that the problems of our own people we can address with our indigenous knowledge or our own knowledge. So also, social security cover is not sufficient. So far, social security is available in the form of pension, gratuity, benefits under VRS, voluntary retirement from service. For the organized sector, labor and food security made available to the poor through public distribution system, PDS. Actually, the labor employed in unorganized sector is likely to be more adversely affected. Hence, protection of the welfare interest of the worst affected segments of the society on account of the implementation of economic reforms is very essential through a proper social safety measures or net. Whatever social development programs we'll be talking about, we are talking about organized labors. For example, those laborers are employed in organized sector. Their interest may be protected somehow or another's. Apart from that, there are many laborers employed in on unorganized sectors. For example, farmers. Farmers are working. For example, construction workers are working. For example, different people are working as vendors in streets doing some business, small petty business. Some people are employed, self-employed as electrician, working of their own. So there are unorganized sector. Even during deaths, during disabilities, no benefits they are able to get. No benefits. Mayor providing some social security programs like PDS, public distribution system, under which paddy, grain, something, some food item will be ensured to the people. That will not work. That will not be sufficient. So proper safety net has to be created for all those people who are working in unorganized sector. Unorganized sector. Large women are working. For example, in different locations, different areas as construction workers. There will be thundering, there will be some natural calamity, or even due to electricity. So people are dying. People are facing disabilities. At that time, what will be? What will be happening to the concerned people who are dying or who are losing or becoming or facing the issues and problems of disabilities? So, special safety nets are to be made. Social workers, as a social workers, we also need to see all these happenings and we have to critically review the things. Mere social security programs and schemes will not be sufficient enough to protect the interest of all those people. Similarly, different other roles we have. Different social legislations have been introduced. For example, Right to Education Act, Right to Information Act. But come on, people, may not be accessing or may not be understanding all these acts. There is an act called Right to Information Act. Any citizen is free to ask to the public office on happenings. But certain populations will not be educated enough to fill up that form of or the application, or will not be able to write the application for availing information or to ask information. There is provision of disability pension, widow pension, but certainly people, different people will not be able to apply for disability certificate unless and until they avail a disability certificate. They cannot ask for, apply for disability pension. So as a social worker we can facilitate all these among masses, particularly those people who are not educated, who cannot access to government offices. We can play a significant role as a catalyst, as a social worker, as a change maker to help them to avail, to access. the opportunities. Social work education should impart quality training that creates clarity in the mind of the professionals about the process of globalization, emerging trends to facilitate social development with a human face. That is most important thing. The professionals should resolve conceptual conflict of social adjustment against social change and social action, thereby laying more emphasis on need of social action to face the challenge of the market economy. And finally, it is necessary for the social work profession to be consistent in its efforts towards removing the ill effects and malpractices arising due to market economy. So once there will be market economy, there might be different issues, different issues, market related issues will be there, malpractices will be there, corruption will be there. So, as a social work professional, as a social worker, we need to also be vigilant and we need to educate ourselves, prepare ourselves with indigenous knowledge, indigenous techniques, with our indigenous understanding. We must keep ourselves ready and alert to serve, to reach, to or to serve to the people at grassroots in much better way. Okay. Let us discuss about social policy. Social policy, we need to understand policy. Policy, broadly speaking, the term policy refers to the general guidelines or principles which give direction to a particular course of action by government or by an organization. It also refers to a very specific sense and an intended or executed course of action. Social policy basically refers to a general guidelines or the principles. It provides a guidelines and the principle to the government to formulate social development agendas and programs and plans. Under this, government also comes up with different policies like health policies, education policies, different other policies. Like recently, government of India has introduced education policies, new education policies. So time and again policies are being renewed and reviewed and new policies are introduced. And this policy is a set of direction to the government to formulate, develop, to develop plans and programs and schemes. What is the need of planning in India? Actually, why there is need of planning in India? An underdeveloped economy like India is characterized by inequalities of income and ownership of access. The high incidence of poverty coupled with these inequalities makes the task of development particularly important. I mentioned after independence, we we observed there is quite inequality sin. Large number of population is falling behind Education is not accessible to them. Healthcare facilities are not available to the people at their doorsteps. Different marginalized community are falling behind. Issues of farmers, issues of laborers are quite difficult. So that there was need to plan. I was mentioning about fifth year plan, 5 year plan I was mentioning. So it was need to plan the things, and to plan the things we need to formulate the policies. So this policy will help the state means the government, to formulate social legislations or to formulate development schemes and programs. So I mentioned about different policies like health policies, education policies, youth policies. The government, respective state governments, have also come up with youth policies, special policies for the youths, because India is a young India. Why young India? Major population of the country is young, so that there is need of drafting policies for particularly for young people, similarly for other people, other areas, different policies are being formulated. I have mentioned that in Indian constitution two important things are discussed. One is fundamental right. Fundamental right means the rights which are enshrined in the Constitution of India, and these rights can never be violated under any conditions. This is fundamental right. Similarly, there is DPSP written in the Constitution, Directive Principles of the State Policy, DPSP. All these things you can note and you can Google and read more about it as per Indian Constitution. One is fundamental right, another is DPSP. Fundamental rights are those rights enshrined in the Constitution of India, has been given and guaranteed by the Constitution of India to all its citizens. The denial is not possible. While as there is another discussion in the constitution that is called DPSP. I am just texting you over here. You can Google and read it more. You can read it more. DPSP means Directive Principles of the State Policy. I am writing it, texting you. DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. See, these directive principles of the state policies are a set of policies or the set of guidelines given by the Constitution of India to the government to frame out social development programs and schemes. But the fundamental definition or the difference between fundamental rights and fundamental DPSP is that fundamental rights are must. The citizens have to enjoy the rights. There cannot be denial of those rights. While as DPSP is not mandatory, it is a set of directions. However, DPSP have been guiding the government to formulate social development programs and schemes and social legislations. So, theoretically, to understand social policy, according to David Gill, social policies are course of action designed to influence the overall quality of life in a society, the circumstances of living of individuals and groups in that society, and the nature of intra-societal relationships among individuals, groups, and society as a whole. So also Kulkarni, according to Kulkarni, social policy is the strategy of action indicating means and methods to be followed in successive phases to achieve the declared social objectives. So also Marshall states that social policy refers to policy of government with regard to action having a direct impact on welfare of the citizens by providing them with services or income. Similarly, different other social work professors, sociologists, they have given opinion on social policy, but you just understand social policy is also discussed in Indian Constitution under DPSP, Directive Principles of the State Policy. Policies are a set of directions that basically helps the government to formulate social legislations, to formulate development schemes and programs. So under these social policies, we can discuss about different models of policies like residual welfare model of social policy, like we can discuss about industrial achievement performance model of social policy. We can discuss about institutional redistributive model of social policy. These are the important models of policies. Now the basic thing, the core, the important thing is that who are the actors, who are the important players, who are the key players of social policy. Now, in order to come up the social policy, in order to influence the government to have the policies or to bring the policies for the people, who are the key players? The first is the government. Government is the key player. Rightly, I am telling that policies is a set of principles that helps the government to formulate different legislation, to formulate development programs. And who brings the policies again? I mentioned that recently Government of India has introduced new education policy. So who brings this policy? The government. The key player behind social policies are, first is government, then who forms the government? The political parties. The political parties. So the political parties are another key stakeholders or the key players or the key actors to formulate social policies. Other people are, there are individual reformers. For example, once upon a time there was child marriage was legal, child labor was legal, but individuals came up with the idea that there cannot be child labor, there cannot be child marriage. Individuals have also performed or played important role. They have also influenced the government. They have written articles in newspapers. They have come to the televisions to debate. They have created awareness among masses, and simultaneously they wanted to influence the government to bring or to formulate social policies against certain social evils and social problems. So whatever legislations have been introduced, whatever development programs, PDS, public distribution system came, different civil society organization, different individuals, they have played roles. They have played roles. So government, political parties, individual reformers, voluntary organizations, CSOs, civil society organization or NGOs, non-government organization, social action groups. There are different social action groups who are the advocates against certain problems and social evils. So some people will be working for women rights, rights of children, rights of leprosy victims, rights of PWD, persons with disabilities, and might be working for action groups, working for SCs, minorities. Mane religious in India, minorities means religious minorities and linguistic minorities. Based on religion, minorities are there. Based on language, minorities are there. And again, there is also sex minorities. Now, in contemporary time, people are also talking about the rights of transgenders. So once upon a time, people were telling only men and women. Now people are talking about man, women, men, and transgenders, trans men, trans women, LGBTQT. So many new concepts and new things are emerging. So there are people who are actionists, advocates, and social activists working for the rights of different people. So these social action groups plan documents. There will be some documents, maybe documentary movies, maybe research based articles, documents that will be showing certain problems, certain crises, will be providing certain solutions also. This document can also influence the formulations of social policies in the government. So also parliamentary committees, consumer reactions, technological breakdowns, etc. can also help in formulation of social policies. However is very important. Problems are also there to implement social policies. Policies are formulated. Many times government formulate, as you refer some example from Nigeria, that these, that, those problems are there. So also problems can be seen in India, can be seen any part of the world. Policies may be framed beautifully, policies are framed, but lack of political will. The government in power may not be wanting, may not be interested to formulate, even if being formulated, but implementation, government or the, if there is no strong political will, it cannot be effectively implemented. If there is coalition government, if government is not completely independent, if it is coalition government, then there will be coalition majburi means in coalition, if certain political parties interest is not in favor of that particular policy, the policy, even if being formulated, will not be implemented successfully. So also corruption, down from grassroots to upper level, corruptions are there, financial constraints are there, formulated policies will not be effectively or implemented at grassroots because of financial constraints. Then red tapeism, you must be understanding about red tapeism. Financial constraints are there, red tapeism are there, absence of training. Those professionals who are the people to implement will not be a completely skillful to implement. So that is another problem, lack of people's participation. Everything is there, government decides, government implements, persons implementing people are very much positive to implement things, but there is no people's participation. It also will not be helpful, or the policies will not be properly implemented. Then how can we strategize effecting changes in policies? We will effectively use mass media, and today there is a time of digital media, social media. So when I am talking about mass media, please include digital media also. Creation of public opinion, demonstration, public interest litigations, PILs can be done in high courts and Supreme Court. So discussions, meeting, seminar, webinar, and different pressure group can also play very vital role to pressurize the government. So also submission of memorandum to the government. So also signature campaigns. Now digital signature campaigns are also being seen, and through pressure group we can also strategize for effective changes in policies. And everywhere there is role of social workers or the social work professional to play vital role, key role in formulating social policies to the effective implementation of social policies. Thank you so much. Thank you for today.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for your kind
Thank you.
presentations.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. I have a question, but you have left.
You can
Actually,
ask,
please,
we are going to
someone
answer
should
you.
try
The
to.
lecture is gone.
Yeah, during his explanation, he made mention about the social policy, health policy, and the rest. And he made mention about the youth policy. So I don't know how can a youth policy get involved in environment. What are the primary roles that are going to play in the environment? That's what made me confusion. So please, if there is anyone can clarify for me, please. I have listening ears.
I'm not sure if you have ever read the youth policy of your country, because like in Malawi we have two youth policies. We have the national youth policy, which is an overall. It encompasses all sectors of development, and we have got a specific policy we call the youth friendly health services policy, or the sexual reproductive health and rights policy. However, from the observation, I was involved in the development of the sexual reproductive health rights and policy. It has an inclusion of youth involvement in environmental conservation. For example, the organizing partners, the partners that wanted to sell out the policy, they were directed by the government to say, if you're involving the youths, please make sure that they take part in the conservation of the environment. For example, it has a clause which says, if you want to engage with young people to teach them about family planning, if you want to engage young people to teach them about career development, please, in their meetings, make sure that you also discuss environmental friendliness. Like there was a project which was supported by PACT, an international organization with funding from the USA. Young people were encouraged to grow trees and promote or to discourage the use of thin plastics, which has been a case in Malawi and elsewhere else. So yes, environmental is part of youth policies which have been developed from those way. I've read from South Africa, I've read from Botswana, I've read another one from Zambia. All these policies that have got a component of environmental conservation and environmental management.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you, sir. But more also about he even discuss about the health